Assalamu alaikum. Hello, everyone. Hope all are safe and sound. At the outset, on behalf of Manai, I'd like to thank our esteemed customers who are joining us for this event. Also, I'd like to thank the F5 and the Westcon team, which are participating and facilitating this event for us. So, as you all know, Manai and F5 are key partners in the ADC segment here in Qatar. We at Manai have been keen on facilitating secure delivery of applications for our customers. In the world we live in today, applications and web services represent businesses and their reputation, and this needs to be closely guarded against ever increasing attacks. This is our area of expertise, and this is where we want to assist our customers to publish their applications and services securely. With two new exciting acquisitions, Shape Security and Nginx, F5 have further broadened their portfolio for application delivery as well as security. So, in the sessions that follow this, the SMEs will delve into the roadmap for secure services delivery, Nginx, and Shape Security as well. So, to conclude, I would like to thank you all for joining us, and I hope that the sessions would be insightful and interesting for you. So, I'll hand it over to Ammar now, and he will take us through the agenda for today's presentations. Thank you.
Thank you, Hasib. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum and good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your busy schedules to be with us today. I know you have a very busy schedule, but I promise you that today's event will be of great value, and at the same time, it will be a lot of fun. Great to have you with us. So I will start by introducing myself. My name is Ammar Mohyeddin. I'm the sales manager for F5 in Qatar. I started around a couple of months ago. And also I have with me Eli Dager, who is also hired recently in Qatar by F5. He is the solution engineer. This is part of the commitment from F5 to you, our customers, is to invest more in the country and to deliver more value to you. Also, as part of our commitment to you, we're continuing our innovation. We're adding a lot of new features and acquisitions to make your business applications run faster, smarter, and more secure. So from our side, we have three speakers today for the session. We will start by my colleague Yasser Al-Mashad, who will be focusing on the future of security and adaptive applications. The second session will cover F5 latest acquisition, which is Shape Security, and it will show how you can prevent fraud and also deliver great customer experience to your customers. This session will be given by our Shape Security expert, Ahmed Mubarak. The last session will be given by my colleague Prashant Jani, who is the expert in Nginx. And Prashant will show you how Nginx will help you to modernize your applications and build future solutions. So thanks again for being with us, and we look forward to your interactive Q&A at the end. And now I hand the mic to my colleague Yasser. Yasser, please go ahead.
Thank you, Ammar. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here today. My name is Yasser Al-Mashad. I work for F5 as a security specialist covering the META region. And in this session, I'm going to take you through the latest trends in the security industry, and we will go through an overview of F5 security portfolio. So let's get started. I would like to start with the current industry trends with regards to digital transformations. Now, more than ever, digital transformation is a critical process for all businesses and enterprises during the COVID-19.
Sorry. Will you just share your screen because it hasn't come through yet?
All right. Sorry about that.
No worries. Yeah. Thank you.
Sure. Share the entire screen.
Great job. That's awesome.
All right. Okay. So again, let's continue from the current industry trends with regard to digital transformation. As we mentioned that more than ever, digital transformation is a critical process for all businesses during the COVID-19. And in some cases, businesses have to make the hard decision whether to close their doors or digitally innovate even further. The coronavirus outbreak has changed the habits of consumers and the way organizations do business forever. The services that we can access without leaving our homes continue to grow every day. Many companies mandate that employees work from home. Universities and schools shift to fully online teaching, and restaurants transition to online ordering and delivery. So we are seeing the most rapid organizational transformation in the history of the modern firm. Now, as more and more companies embark on digital transformation, they quickly recognize that applications are the most important assets in the organization and also a great source of risk. In fact, according to a study conducted by F5 Threat Intelligence Team, F5 Labs, where they researched many security incidents or security breaches in the past 10 years across different verticals, they found that web applications were the initial targets in 53% of those security breaches. And user identities were the initial targets in 33% of those security breaches as well. So these together, 86% of the attacks happen where they are happening today. And this is where we really need to shift our focus to. Because if we think about it, today, if any attacker tried to access any type of data, regardless of this type of data, it can be financial banking data, it can be a social media data, it can be healthcare data or corporate data. Most probably, this data is accessed through web applications or a mobile applications. And usually these applications require some sort of identity, like an authentications mechanism to allow user to reach to this data. So if the attacker able to compromise either the applications or user identity, they can get access to the data. And the data is the most important thing that we are trying to protect today. So we can summarize this by saying that applications are the gateway to the data. Now, let's talk about how we can secure applications. But before we go to the F5 solutions, let's first agree on that. And I think many of you agree already on that. The current traditional network perimeter security is insufficient, right? This is for two reasons. First, applications continue to move to multi-cloud environment. In the past, usually most of the companies, they have their applications and services are located in single location on premises in the data center. So it was easier to build security walls around them. But today you are seeing many of these applications shifting to different environments. So we have many of our customers that they have applications, for example, still running on premises, but they have another applications running in some sort of hybrid cloud or a private cloud, and other applications running in public cloud. And when it comes to public clouds, we also have seen the multi-public cloud environment where the same organization might have a couple of applications running in Amazon AWS, another few applications running in Azure, and other running in Google GCP. And this is very common today because each one of these providers, they have some pros and cons, and it usually depends on the application and the licensing model preferred. Sometimes a certain cloud environment might be suitable for certain applications. And the result is that we have applications running in all of these different environments. And of course, this requires us to change the way that we deploy security today. The second factor is that the number of the mobile users, they also continue to grow. Again, in the past, most of the users, they used to be located inside the corporate network where the IT or the security team used to enforce in easy way the access controls for those users inside the perimeter or inside the corporate environment. However, today and more than ever, especially after the COVID-19, the majority of the users are accessing these applications remotely. They are sitting in many different places from their home while they're traveling from different countries, and this has introduced another challenge and complexity. So in summary, we today are trying to secure users' access that they are located in many different places to add applications that also located in multiple different environments. And this is require a new way to think about how to secure these applications and services. Now, one of those approaches which F5 adopt is a zero trust approach. Now, zero trust is not a new concept. It existed probably since 2010 when it was introduced by Forrester researchers. But it's a concept that is more relevant today than ever. Zero trust eliminates the idea of a trusted network inside our perimeter. We basically treat every user as a suspicious user. There is no any trust for any user. And it consists of these three main pillars you see on the screen. First one is never trust. So we always need to authenticate the user before we allow him any access, even if he was authenticated previously in another application or a different environment. Second, we always need to verify every request that comes to the application, even after the authentication. And the last but not least is to continuously monitor those users' PCs and endpoints or the mobile devices for the posture checks and the compliance. So in case any changes happen that violate our corporate policy, we need to detect that in the real time and then take actions immediately. Like, for example, diverting the user to remediation area or to block him temporarily or suspend his account. So these are the three concepts of the zero trust. Now let's look at how F5 achieved the zero trust today. Now F5 have many different security services and the products, but we can categorize them in these three main categories. The first one is trusted application access. So this is it's all about how to making sure that these users are authenticated and authorized to access the applications and services and the network resources in a secure way. And second, the infrastructure security. And these are the network and the infrastructure services that eventually support the applications. An example like DNS services, SSL services, denial of service threads, which come on the network layer. So we also have few products that focus on the infrastructure security. And the last but not least is the application layer security. And this is the biggest category where most of the products of F5's products they fit today. And this is all about securing the layer 7 or the applications layer against layer 7 attacks, for example, like cross-site scriptings or SQL injections or fraud and automations attacks. Now, all of these services and the products, they are available today to be consumed through different ways. So F5 provide a self-managed platforms like Nginx and the Big IP, where we can deploy these different application services on top. We also provide those application services as a SaaS model, where people they can self-manage those. They can self-manage those, but it's available in the cloud as a service. And the third, we also provide some of these application services as a fully managed, where it's fully managed by the F5 analyst in our security operations centers. To give you an example, today F5 is one of the leaders in the web application security, and we have a leading web application firewall or WAF in the market. And in order really to satisfy all the business models and the business requirements and pricing and the billings and needs, we have built a different type of WAF that fit each one of this environment. So there is an advanced WAF that can be self-managed on Big IP. There is another WAF, which is Nginx App Protect, also self-managed, but it's fit more for the DevOps environments and the application owners. The big IP fits more with the network and the security team. We also have a cloud services essential app protect WAF, which is consumed as a service for the people who would like to pay per consumption model. And the third, we also have a WAF available in Silverline, which is fully managed. So basically, we have all the different type of options that possible today in the market to consume this service. Now let's talk about each one of these services individually. And I will start with the application access. So application access is all about authenticating and users and making sure their connections is authorized. So today, in order to allow users to connect to the network resources, we ensure this is happening over a secured VPN tunnels. Again, also for applications, we enforce a security policy to authenticate and authorize users to this application. And for seamless user experience, we also include a single sign-on features that allow the user to authenticate once, but access many applications without need to re-authenticate again. One important feature of our identity and access management solution is the identity federation. And this is where many of the organizations who are migrating to the clouds and they would like to take advantage of the modern authentications introduced by identity as a service providers like Azure AD and Okta or Ping Identity, we allow them to do that, and the F5 can enforce this in front of the applications, either on-prem or in the cloud. So for example, if a user tried to access an application on-prem that's protected by F5, F5 have an integration that redirect these users to the Azure AD, for example, to authenticate. And then once they are coming back to F5, we validate these authentications by verifying the token and then do the single sign-on for a seamless access to the backend. And we have built a very easy way to configure that. We have a big partnership with Microsoft and another identity as a service vendors to simplify this deployment. The next pillar is the infrastructure security, and we have few solutions in this space. First is the denial of service protection. So the F5 DDoS Hybrid Defender provide DDoS protections from layer 2 up to layer 7 that basically protect against volumetrics and the layer 7 DDoS attacks. We rely on our latest technology that is behavioral DDoS protection that utilize machine learnings and AI to learn about the good traffic and identify the bad traffic by the patterns. And this is to provide a very accurate detections and mitigation without hurting the legitimate users, and also to simplify the deployment for the network team. On top of that, F5 also provide the DDoS in the cloud through our Silverline cloud DDoS mitigation. So this is like an end-to-end DDoS prevention that consists of both on-prem and the cloud. And there's also an integration in form of signaling that happen between those. The second component or use case for the infrastructure security is the SSL orchestration. And as you know, today, like almost more than 90% of the internet traffic is happening over SSL, all right? However, the attackers are also taking an advantage and they hide all their attacks inside SSL, encrypted. If you think about it, most of the malwares today communicate with their command and control or the drop zone using SSL. And this make the existing security products blind for these attacks. Existing security products like an IPS or an next generation firewall or a data leakage prevention, etc., they require a clear text traffic to inspect those. Now, some of those, they have SSL capability, but come at the cost of the performance and the complexity to configure them. So the F5 SSL orchestrator eliminate the single point of failure, and it provides the SSL decryption and encryption at very high speed with the high performance. And it also allows you to orchestrate this traffic to the security devices in a very intelligent way, depend on the corporate policy. Next is the application layer security. And I would like to, when we talk about application security or layer 7 application security, we would like to categorize those into three main areas. First is the web security for web applications, which usually access through our user browsers, accessing those traditional web applications. Most of the WAF products today, they support the web. Second is the mobile application. Now, mobile applications still rely on HTTP, but they usually the mobile apps are usually native mobile apps that run on top of iOS or Android. They do not have browsers functionalities, so they do not use things like HTML or CSS. And this is why we need to provide a special configurations on the WAF. And our web application firewall is equipped to provide the mobile application security. And we extend that through an SDK that can be integrated with the mobile app itself. And the third type of application is the APIs. Now, again, API is very similar to the mobile application in the way that users are not using browsers. It's usually thick client, but API usually rely on XML and JSON to exchange data. So for the old APIs like the SOAP-based API, they rely usually on XML. The new modern APIs are relying on the JSON, which is the REST-based API. Now, regardless of which API you are using, of course, this needs to be authenticated. The traffic needs to be authorized. We need to inspect the payload of this JSON and XML. And the web application firewall should equip with a special features to secure these APIs. Now, F5 provide, as we mentioned, or we give an example previously, or the different web application firewall products that we provide today to satisfy all the business needs and different requirements in terms of licensing and the pricing and the billing, etc. Now, we also have different products that depend on that rely on the type of security that required. For example, most of the web applications, they require at least the common application attacks. This is the WASP top 10. This is the standard web application security. But then we go from there beyond that to provide an advanced features like credentials protection against manning the browsers. So we basically extend our server-side application security to the client side in order to provide a full end-to-end application security that cover both the client side and the server side. On top of that, the application firewall also from F5 is equipped with an API security that support the latest frameworks and industry standards like Open API specifications and the Swagger specifications that allow the security admin to automate policy building for these APIs endpoint. We also provide a layer 7 DDoS preventions inside our WAF for all applications. And of course, the protections from the threats and automated and fraud attacks through our advanced WAF and Shape security, which are providing a very advanced and very sophisticated fraud and bot protection today. So with that, to summarize again, F5 have a granular portfolio. We believe that we have the biggest multi-cloud application services exist today in the market. I mean, F5 provide application services for application delivery like load balancing, SSL offloading, caching, compression. We also provide application services security like WAF, like fraud prevention, bot protections, application access, trusted access through our access policy manager, and also the infrastructure security through our SSL orchestrator, DNS security, etc., etc. So this is the most comprehensive application services exist from any vendor today in the market. And with that, this concludes my presentation. Thank you for watching. Over to you, Ammar.
Yeah, thank you, Yasser. Thanks for the presentation. And I believe the next item will be the magician show. So we're ready for that.